This is One-on-One. Joely Richardson is a wonderful actress. She is the Belle of Amherst. The Belle of Amherst.
The Belle of Amherst.
To make this come alive for us, what does that mean?
Do you know, that's a really good point, because the Belle of Amherst is all about Emily Dickinson, and she was from Amherst, and she lived all her life. In fact, she didn't ever leave her house after a certain age. When I first was sent the script, I knew nothing about it, and somehow the Belle of Amherst made me think of something, a whole different thing. I thought it was Southern, and it's this extraordinary piece by William Luce. That's just interweaving the letters and the diaries of this genius. I mean, she was a genius, Emily Dickinson. Obviously, one of the extraordinary things about her was that she wasn't actually published in her lifetime. So her extraordinary worldwide... No, I mean, she'd had 7 poems published, but as a lesson to people out there that think, oh, no one appreciates me, you know, the one person that she focused on who could possibly publish her poems said, you're no good. But he also thought Walt Whitman was no good. So he gave Emily Dickinson and Walt Whitman the big thumbs down. And it was after she died that her sister and her sister-in-law started trying to get the poems out there. And then they became a sensation. And then Ted Hughes, in the 1950s, also re-released them, saying she's basically one of the most extraordinary poets of all time. And what also was amazing about this lady, who I'm playing, so sure. Back to your question, the Belle of Amherst, it's a one-woman show of her talking to the audience. It's a very, very intimate conversation where I'm trying to communicate everything that she wrote and that she believed in. And
you're alone on stage? Why do you make that face when I say that?
Because it's scary to me.
Why?
Why? I've never done it before. The whole thing about acting is that you're telling a story and we're in it together and we're trying to make this thing alive, and I've just never done it by myself. But the writer was, I think her voice is so unique and she's so desperate. In a way, I'm not alone, actually, because there's the audience and I'm telling the story to them. And
it's an intimate audience, 300-400 people?
Yeah, 300.
Does it matter, I'm curious about this, the size of the audience? How much does it matter to you?
Yeah. Do you know, I have ever done the big auditoriums. I personally love an intimate space because you can feel each other and it just feels very intimate.
What did you know about Emily Dickinson before this?
I didn't know very much about her, if I'm honest. I'd no idea, like, her incisiveness. I mean, she often talks about, like, the butterfly and the bee because she was a huge naturist. I'm also a gardener. I couldn't be happier than when I'm sort of pruning my roses and digging up the dirt. So nature was her god. But she didn't travel, and yet she had one of the greatest minds of all time.
Did not travel?
No, didn't travel at all. And she talks about love, life, and death, which are the 3 subjects all of us know about. And she packs a punch for this lady. And
curious about this. You come from an extraordinary family steeped in acting. Describe your family.
Well, that's such a funny question to me because you're right, I do. But to me, they're my family. So I know my mom was my mom, and you know my.
For those who don't know your mom.
Sorry.
For those who don't. Wait a minute, I recognize.
You recognize her?
Yes.
Or she occasionally works in, like, arts or theatre or film. Over the years, she has. My family, you know, it's a funny thing because my father was a film director. You know, my aunt, my uncle, they're no longer with us. And how was it growing up? Well, you know, I'm of a generation before, like, although there were video games, our entertainment was, you know, making shows, putting shows on, and our father or my mother were directors. So
hold on, back up.
Yeah.
Was it expected that you were going to?
No, you know, that's the biggest misconception, was that my mother was like, do anything, please do anything but act. And I get that because it's a strange job. You know, you're always on the road, always traveling, if you're lucky enough to work. And you need to have a very thick skin, and then simultaneously you have to have a very thin skin because you have to be...
Your skin is...
I hope it's both. But, you know, it goes from, on a good day, I'm appropriately strong.
Shy as a kid?
Terribly.
Terribly?
Yes, I'm not an exhibitionist, really, at
And you're doing the one...
I know. It makes no sense at all.
Does it not make any sense, or does it make a lot of sense?
You tell me, Steve.
I don't know.
Please,
I think it's fabulous.
Please be the shrink on this occasion.
No, I can't.
And tell me.
But I'm fascinated by this.
Well, do you know what keeps me is that back to my family. I think I did grow up with like books and words and characters and bringing the word alive, which back to Emily Dickinson, a lot of her writing is bringing the word alive and how obsessed she was with words. So I think, again, when people think of actors, they can get, they think, oh, what awful narcissistic, you know, people that only care about fame or money. And I did come from a slightly different thing where it was all about the work and huge discipline, you know. That's the other thing, like dancers or singers. Massive amount of discipline in order to try and tell the story, communicate someone's life story as best you can, communicate emotions.
You know, I said this before we actually got on the air.
Yes.
I'm going to bring it up, okay?
Okay.
So I'm curious about this.
Okay.
So you got this extraordinary upplug again. You don't mind, right?
I don't know what that means,
Well,
but yeah.
Yes, you do. The Belle of Amherst. By the way, where can people...
Oh, it's at the West Side Theatre on 43rd. And
West 43rd.
Right.
Don't worry, I'll finish the
Oh,
plug.
okay.
So Broadway. Excuse me, performing
Off-Broadway, yeah.
Performing in theater. I first met you, not this way, but on the small screen on Nip Tuck.
Yes.
My wife Jennifer and I, boom, there it is. Okay. That's
I
not my wife
remember
Jennifer,
that
that's
day.
you.
What?
That's not my wife Jennifer, that's you. So my wife Jennifer is sitting there, we fall in love with this series,
Yes.
along with millions of others. And you're fabulous along with your great cast there. Played from 2003 to 2010, I believe. The biggest difference between acting, you talk about discipline
Yes.
and everything
Yes.
that it takes, the biggest difference between what it takes to be successful in a series like that, which was hugely successful, and what you do in theater, in this, in Belle, and other theatrical
It's different
performances.
and it's not different because I think, you know, series television, Nip Tuck to me, was the first time I was in it. And what was fascinating about it is that whereas film is very slow, television is super fast, so it's more like theatre. There's a setup a little bit like this room. There are lots of different cameras. And you and I, if we're doing a scene, say, you know, a marital argument, and it's 5 pages, we will do it as if it's theatre. No rehearsal, like 5 minutes, say, of a walkthrough, and then go for it. So it's a brilliant training. And I was told when I started doing it, they were like, this is the best kept secret. It is a brilliant job. It's very, very exciting to work in series television. I mean, the success of it, you know, sometimes I think great writers, great directors, you know, good actors, but there's some luck, you know, it's hitting the right, you know, what audiences are interested in.
What kind of reaction did you get from Nip Tuck? Do you still
Nip
get
Tuck was
from
very
Nip Tuck?
exciting because perhaps all series have this, but I'd never done one. You're walking on the street and you're still filming the episodes and people are having a reaction and it's a little bit hard for them to differentiate you and the character you're playing. So they're like, how come you didn't throw your husband out when he did that? And that communication with the audience was really exciting. They cared about it. They cared about the story.
I'm actually sitting here across from you, and I can't help this, but I'm thinking about your character.
Julia.
And, yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Different.
Different, very different. And Emily's different too.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Get back to Emily, I'm sorry.
Well, again, you know, it's like English, American, French, whatever character you're playing. Like if I'm playing English, I might not be using this voice. Like
What?
Emily and Julia McNamara, Julia on Nip Tuck,
Right.
Emily Dickinson in our play Belle of Amherst. They're totally different voice placements, physicalities. You know, there's only one picture taken of Emily Dickinson when she was 17, so to try and match her looks when she's an older woman is tough. But so yeah, there are lots and lots of decisions
Different
along
voice?
the way. Yeah.
Hold on,
yeah.
your voice.
Well, obviously my voice, but
different.
It won't sound like this, as Julia.
And Julia did not sound like this either.
No.
How much, I'm curious about this.
A lot of that happens subliminally. You know, just as you're reading the text, the sort of voice starts to calm. You know, what person they were, if they're shy. Like Emily's very shy, so her voice is more contained.
No, by the way, I realized just now, we just put up a picture of your mom before Vanessa Redgrave and your dad, the late Tony Richardson. I realized maybe not everyone knew that that was Vanessa Redgrave. I should not assume that. I'd have to ask you, pressure as a kid to, hey, my mom's Vanessa Redgrave?
Well, do you know, obviously, if you were to logically think, now, what career shall I go into, given that the path before me, the bar has been set so high that anything less than that will be considered not good enough. It wouldn't be a great choice. But you don't think like that when you're young. It's like when you give birth, they say, well, you forget about the pain afterwards, and thank goodness. And it's the same thing. We do things out of love, and we don't think about the rational consequences, the drawback. It's like me accepting the one-woman project. I was like, that's scary. That's really frightening. Can I do it? I don't know. I've never done it before. But, you know, someone once said, make your decisions out of love, not fear. Like, fear being, oh no, well, I could never do as well as those other people have done. As long as the decision's made from the right place, you'll be okay.
And finally, you still love what you do because?
Because it's life, because it's you and me sitting here talking, it's stories around the campfire, it's how we all get through life, sharing stories.
It is an honor to have you here. It is a pleasure to have you here, and I thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. And we wish everyone should go out there and see Jolie Richardson in the Belle of Amherst. I want to thank you so much from the world of public broadcasting to your world off Broadway.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Caldwell University, MagnaCare, New Jersey Credit Unions, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by the law firm of Gibbons, P.C. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com, the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.